Okay, in 3.3, we're going to be looking at polynomials, like long division and synthetic division. So I've divided this lecture into two parts. And the first part we're going to look at is long division. Now, if you remember long division from back in the day when you were looking at it in grade school, we're going to build upon that knowledge. So just humor me a little bit and let's kind of take it back a few years. So if you remember back in the day, if you wanted to take two numbers, and let's just kind of look at it here. If you wanted to look at 484 and you wanted to divide it by 6, you would say, okay, does 6 go into 4? No, 6 doesn't go into 4. So you would move over a spot and you say, does 6 go into 48? And you say, yeah, 6 can go into 48. How many times? Well, it'll go into it 8 times. And so then you would say 8 times 6, and you would write the 48 here, and then you would subtract it from that. 48 minus 48, that zeroes out. And then you bring down your next term. So that would be 4. Then you say, okay, does 6 go into 4? No, 6 doesn't go into 4. There's nothing else back here for me to bring down. So then you would just come over here and you would say, okay, that's a remainder of 4. Then when you learned and got kind of good with it, you would say, oh, that's 8. And then you would do 4 over your dividing by, which was 6. So 8 2/3. And so if you remember that from back in the day when you're working with long division, that's going to help you with what we're doing here. I'm going to do another one. Let me do another one for us here. I'll move this one over to the side. Let's do a little bit longer one. Like say you had 12,642 and you wanted to divide that by 4. So you say, okay, 4 times what? Will 4 go into 1? No. So you compare kind of these first two terms. Okay, well if 4 won't go into 1, you look at the next term, 12. Will 4 go into 12? Yes, 3 times. So you say 4 times 12 and then you subtract it off. That cancels to give you 0. 4 won't go into 0, so you bring down the next term. 6. Will 4 go into 6? Yes. 1 time. You notice I put the 1 above the 6, what I'm going into. So 4 times 1, that gives me 4. Subtract that off to give me 2. 4 won't go into 2, so you'd have to bring down the next term. 4 will go into 24 6 times, and so I say 4 times 6, that gives me 24. Subtract it off to give me 0, and then bring it down 2. So this bringing back memories. Again, 2, 4 won't go into, it's the last number you had, so you might say remainder of 2, or you might say that that is 3/16 and 2 over the 4 that you were dividing by, so 3/16 and 1/2. So, all this being said about long division, we're going to use this to work with our polynomials as well. So when you're working with long division, go slow and be careful with your signs and do the same process that you know how to do from like the previous one I just showed you. So first things first, say I want to take 6x cubed minus 19x squared plus 16x minus 4, and I want to divide that by x minus 2. So what you do is I'm going to set my long division here, and when you write this in here, your x minus 2 goes out front. Now when you write this in here, you need to write it in descending order of exponents, and then if you are missing any terms, put in a 0 as a placeholder. And so 6x cubed minus 19x squared plus 16x minus 4. And then what you're going to do is you're going to compare front terms. So you look at your x and you look at your 6x cubed, excuse me. And you say, x times what would give me 6x cubed? Well, that's times 6x squared. So I say x times 6x squared, that gives me 6x cubed. Now go ahead and multiply by the 2, minus 12x squared. And then just like we did in the previous one, subtract it off. So subtract off this whole thing. Now a lot of people mess this up because they mess up their signs and they don't realize it till they get to the next part. So when you go in here, you can change this to a positive as long as you change all the signs on the inside. So then that helps you to see 6 minus 6, that cancels to 0. Negative 19 plus 12 is negative 7x squared. And then you would bring down the next term, so plus 16x. And then again, you compare your front numbers. You say x and negative 17x squared. X times what would give me negative 7x squared, and that would be negative 7x. X times negative 7x is negative 7x squared. Negative 2 times negative 7x is a positive 14x. And then remember, you have to subtract this off. So if I come in here and I say minus this whole thing, then that's like plus, change your signs. So now negative 7 and positive 7, that's 0. 16 minus 14, that's 2x. And bring down your negative 4. And then again, compare your front numbers. Ax, x. And 2x. X times what would give me 2x? That's a positive 2. So then I multiply. So that gives me 2x minus 4. And change your signs. That cancels. That cancels. And I get 0. Now I'm done. Okay? So my final answer would be, how do I divide 6x cubed minus 19x squared plus 16x minus 4 by x minus 2? Final answer, 6x squared minus 7x plus 2. So I could say that this is equal to 6x squared minus 7x plus 2. Let's do it again. Okay, the next problem. Let's see. Let's do this one. This one's number 11. Oops, excuse me. This is number 11 out of your textbook. And it says 2x squared plus 10x plus 12 divided by x plus 3. So you're going to set it up. You put your x plus 3 out front and your 2x squared plus 10x plus 12. And again, if you're missing one, you'd have to put in a 0 term. Then you're going to compare x and 2x squared. X times what would give you 2x squared, and that's a 2x. So 2x times x gives me 2x squared plus 6x. Change your signs. 2 minus 2 is 0. 10 minus 6 is 4x. Bring down your 12. Then again, you look at it and you compare x with 4x. X times what would give me 4x, and that's positive 4. So x times 4 is 4x. 4 plus 3 times 3 is 12. Change your signs. So 4 minus 4, 12 minus 12, so this zeroes out as well. So my answer would be 2x plus 4. And so we could say 2x squared plus 10x plus 12 is equal to x plus 3 times 2x plus 4. So this is kind of how things benefit us. If we're asked up here to do long division, in the end, it helps us to kind of factor things out. And that's the end game. That's what we're going to be working with in this section. Let's do another one. All right, here's another one. This is example 1 out of your book. And it says x squared plus 3x plus 5 all over x plus 1. And again, that's a division problem. So you would set that up and you would say x squared plus 3x plus 5 and put your x plus 1 out front. Now as you go, you're going to compare your front terms. X times what would give me x squared? Well, that's just x. So then multiply it throughout here. So that would give me x squared plus x. Change your signs. Cancels. 3 minus 1x, that gives me a 2x, and bring down the 5, so plus 5. Then you look at it again and you say, okay, compare my x and my 2x. X times what would give me 2x, and that's a positive 2. So then I would say 2x plus 2. Change your signs. 5 minus 2 gives me 3. Now here's where the game kind of changes. X times what would give me 3? Nothing. And there's nothing left to bring down. So this is your remainder. So we don't say remainder of 3. We say x plus 2 plus, you take your remainder 3 and put it over what you're dividing by, x plus 1. And that would be your answer. So x squared plus 3x plus 5 over x plus 1, that's equal to x plus 2 plus 3 over x plus 1. And that would be your answer that you would need to type in. So be careful with that. If you get a remainder, you do need to take your remainder and put it over what you were dividing by. Let's try another one. Okay, so this one says, this is the example 2 out of the book. It says divide x cubed minus 1 by x minus 1. Okay, so that means take x cubed minus 1. Now x cubed is my highest. I don't have an x squared, so I'm going to say plus 0x squared plus 0x minus 1. So I filled in blank placeholders if I need them. and x minus 1 goes out front. Then you compare front terms, x and x cubed. X times what would give me x cubed, and that's x squared. So I do x times x squared to give me x cubed minus, let's see, 1 times x squared, that's minus x squared. Change your signs. So x minus x cubed cancels. 0 plus 1 gives me a 1x squared. And again, this is helping you to see to add like terms and not accidentally add it over here with your negative 1. Then bring down your next one, plus 0x. So again, you compare your front terms, x and x squared. You say x times what would give me x squared? Well, that's plus x. So x times x would give me x squared minus x. Change your signs. X squared minus x squared. 0 plus 1 gives me x. Bring down the negative 1. Okay, x times what would give me x? And that's a positive 1. Again, multiply. So you say x times x is, 1 times x is x, and 1 times negative 1 is negative 1. Change your signs. X's cancel, 1's cancel, you're left with 0. Make sure every time that you're subtracting, you're changing all the signs from what you're doing, because it's going to really throw off your answer. You'll get your first term right and get really frustrated when a WebAssign doesn't accept it because it's a sign issue, or you just threw your whole problem off. Now, when you get down to 0 and you have nothing left over here, then you can say, all right, that's my answer. So I would come over here and I would say that's equal to x squared plus x plus 1, and that's the division of x cubed minus 1 by x minus 1. This long division is really fun. Look at all this fun we're having here. I'm going to do one more to kind of get you going, and then there will be a part 2 lecture dealing with another way to divide. Alright, so on this one, what we want to see, and this comes from number 24 out of the textbook. Yes, you have access to the textbook. If you are in WebAssign, you have access to it. And I'm going to do 5x cubed minus 16 minus 20x plus x to the 4th. And I'm going to divide that by x squared minus x minus 3. Okay, so we're going to set this up. So x squared minus x minus 3, and that's being divided by, now put these in order. This is the largest degree, so I really need to put x4 plus 5x cubed. There's 9x squared, so I'm going to say plus 0x squared minus 20x minus 16. Now then, as I go through this and work this, remember, we're going to look at our front terms. X squared and x to the 4th. X squared times what would give me x to the 4th, and that's an x squared. So now multiply this throughout what you're dividing it by. So that gives me x4 minus x cubed minus 3x squared. Go through here, change all your signs, and then put those together. Now your first term is always going to cancel because you're picking it to cancel. So it doesn't cancel, you pick the wrong number. x4 minus x4 cancels. 5, that's a plus 1. So 5 plus 1 would give me 6x cubed plus 0 and 3, that's a 3x squared. And then bring down the next term, negative 20x. Again, compare your numbers. X squared and 6x cubed. That means I need to multiply by a positive 6x. Again, you have to have all these in order. So 6x times x squared, that's a 6x cubed, minus 6x squared, minus 18x. Okay, again, change all your signs. I can't say that enough. This cancels. I get 9x squared, negative 20 and positive 18, that's negative 2x, and bring down the next one, negative 16. Okay, so again, you say x squared and 9x squared. How do I get there? I'm going to do a plus 9. So I get 9x squared minus 9x minus 18. Change all your signs. 9's cancel. I get 7x plus 2. Well, x squared is not going to multiply to give me 7x. It can't decrease like that. And so I'm just going to come out here side and say plus and put my remainder 7x plus 2 over what I was dividing by, x squared minus x minus 3. So this would be my final answer. Let me write it out here to the side so you can see it more clearly. X squared plus 6x plus 9 plus 7x plus 2 over x squared minus x minus 3. So this would be the answer that you put in. So with your long division, go slow. Make sure you're subtracting off the whole problem and not just the lead term. If you have an issue, let me know. Let me help you if you need help. You will have to long divide on your exam, and if you don't long divide, there's no other way for you to get credit for that problem. Hope this helps. I'm going to do another video for the next part.